Welcome back. My name is Rudy. You're watching Alpha Investments. Last week, just walked into the basement, we went through a full set of Magic Unlimited that we had purchased. This week, on episode 2, we're done with that. We are going to audit in Return to the World of Arabian Nights. It's the first video I've done on Arabian Nights in a very long time, everybody. Sit back and relax. I will zoom in on the camera here a little bit closer. And we are going to look at Arabian Nights, do some discussion on this tiny little set, and give you guys my opinion on what I see happening on some good and bad things. Hot tip for those of you that want to stick around. Short answer is not a whole lot going on. Market on old Magic remains very, very fractured, damaged, post-Magic 30. It's still, I know. We're about to enter 2025, and the narrative is the same. The negativity is the same. The amount of money, capital, excitement, and new money entering this market for vintage Magic remains very low. So, before we start jumping through this Arabian Nights audit today, friendly reminder, this is being filmed in early December, maybe mid-ish, maybe second week of December. And you guys will watch this sometime mid-December, hopefully before the new year. And as of this filming, the bull market in Magic remains very, very hot with new collector boxes and new release of Magic. And the bull market has now spread to Bronze Era sealed products. So in other words, sealed Magic booster boxes from that 2010 through 2019 range are now seeing incredible demand and market buyouts and all kinds of activity happening as of the November, December of 2024. Which appeared to really be sparked and really went nuclear with the Kaladesh situation. Then, of course, the Eldritch Moon with banning, unbanning situations, unbannings with the Mox Opal, with the Scars of Mirrodin, and we're seeing a lot of speculation and everything spread into a lot of sealed product from a lot of these boxes and eras. So now, with that being said, that you guys are caught up, let's take a look here. Starting off, we have our variants here. Or light and dark variant. For those of you new to Magic, you don't know what I am talking about with light and dark variants. I'll give you a quick little example here. I know it's been a while. These two cards, this is the light and the dark version. As you can see at the very top, the difference is literally the number 1. See the mana symbol? That's all it is. It's very exciting stuff. There's a little bit of difference. You can see a little bit of printing difference on the word. A little slight variance, but it's pretty much the light one versus the dark one. That's when people say light and dark in Arabian Nights, that is what they're referring to, just the different variants of the printing. Some of them, they claim, like when it comes to like desert, we'll see at the end of the land cycle. Some people claim certain ones are more rare and desirable, but overall, I don't think there's a price difference between the lights or dark or black and white one. I think they're the same price. So, all right, on this page, obviously, when reserve lists go through a boom and bull market, not only do the key cards like the King and the old Jihad over here have big moves, but then usually later tails of reserve list buyouts and bull markets, it spreads. You'll see buyouts and a lot of activity going after cards like the Cavalry. And of course, I remember when the Blacksmith had a lot of activity and buyout action going on. On this page here, you can see, just for know, obviously Jihad is one of our banned sensitivity dangerous cards. So we have a nice, definitely a played condition one here. Definitely not very minty or gradable, but a beautiful copy here from 1993. So, I know, this giant binder here. Obviously, page 2 here, we are going to be looking at our most important thing, which is going to be our fish liver oil. I'm kidding! Have some humor and fun, everybody. We got our Shahrazad, one of Rudy's favorite all-time Magic cards. One of the cards I was involved with, buying a ton of copies many years ago. I don't know the exact price today. I would say this is probably $300 to $500 range. And I remember accumulating a very large position. I remember when these were about $100 a card. Those were good times and everything. Old Man of the Sea, one of my very first buyout cards I ever did a long time ago when I expanded into Arabian Nights. I started with Old Man of the Sea and actually Singing Tree. And, an Elephant Graveyard. Yeah, $50 a piece I think they were, or $75, I can't remember. And of course, Flying Men, one of the most iconic common cards in the set. So far, so good. Again, decent looking conditions and everything. You got our Serendibs over here. You got the Djinns and the Ifrit. The Ifrit is the more valuable one, looking at the condition of these things. Definitely, they have seen some definite natural play and wear. You can see the slide and the marks on the side of the card there. And of course, we got to check out our big bad boy over here, our Guardian Beast. and one of the most iconic Arabian Nights cards in history. This one's actually a little nicer. I'd call this one actually probably light play, maybe even going to almost a soft near mint. Nice little copy there, everybody. And then, of course, we do have other cards that are desirable that are not reserved lists. Obviously, El Hajjajis over here from 4th edition. You got your Sinbads, you got your Freets, and of course you got Rudy's X over here with the witches and everything. Always fun stuff. Now we get to the big boys. Obviously, one of the most iconic pieces of art in Magic the Gathering history. You have Dr. J over here, the Djinn. Very, very well loved. That's going to be in your MP heading towards heavy played condition. Pretty rough, but beautiful, beautiful, beautiful eye appeal on that card, everybody. And of course, you know, I was never a fan of the Djinn. I always thought it was a terrible card, but I understand back in the day, it is a black card, which means, you know, obviously Dark Ritual or first turn Dark Ritual hippie. You know, turn 2, maybe second mana, Dark Ritual kind of thing. If you have another one, you can probably, you know, get a Djinn out, try to get it out early on like turn 2. And that was the big deal. Like if you're able to get like a Djinn out on like turn 1 or 2 or 3, you know, depending what you're playing with. I mean, that was to hit a 5/5 monster that early. Even if you get 1 or 2 swings in, I mean, you can tilt the whole game pretty early on. And obviously, now that I'm older, the 1 damage to yourself doesn't really mean anything. But back in the day, I always thought it was a terrible card. Actually, you know, the most exciting card to me, I know the Stone Throwing Devils, another cultural sensitivity banned card since 2020. Apparently, it's some, I don't know, you guys can comment below, but I've never understood it. But this is another one of those banned cards. Again, similar to Flying Men, 1 drop, 1/1, strikes first. I mean, not really much going on there, but I guess the name makes people upset now, even though it's been around for 30 years, whatever. I know Abulettes was kind of a big thing before they reprinted it. It was a big deal, but right here, this is going to be the card that I remember. This is Cabal Ghoul is another big deal, but it's always going to be to me Ollie from Cairo. This is the quintessential. This is the Arabian Nights to me. The infamous. I know it was a 4-drop, super expensive, but the old 01 can't die if he's in play. That is the Ollie is always going to be. And look at the back there. Pretty, you know, kind of played there. Obviously, Sorcery Queen and Cabal Ghoul, the Bird Maiden, and everything. So, very cool stuff. So, it looks like pretty solid little played set here. You can tell that this was definitely a player's thing because the non-playable cards, like let's pick a card here. I don't know. Magnetic Mountain, I guess. You know, the non-playable cards seem to be in better condition. I don't know. There's a few little nicks there, but still, overall, way better condition than like the Djinn or something. You know, that's kind of how you can tell the difference there. Good old drop of honey, everybody. You know, after the big buyouts of the 2017-2018 time, it never did anything else. Never went up more in price. Never tanked in price. Never retraced. Just kind of sat there. But, you know, it's been a very negative market for old Magic cards. Definitely out of favor still after we are now 3 years out of favor in the world of vintage Magic and Arabian Nights. All right, on this page here, we have Rudy's favorite. Always got to take a moment to appreciate the singing tree, everybody. Again, it's a tree with a giant mouth singing. This sucker is well loved, too. My goodness, that is a heavy played tree, everybody. But that is one of my first moving into Arabian Nights almost 10 years ago to go big. That was it there. You got your Iffity Biffy. Never a big fan of the card. Recently in the last few years, people really made me understand how good Aladdin's Ring is. But I always hated that card. I thought the 8 drop the cast and then 8 cost to activate, I thought was absolutely absurd. But, you know, hey, what do I know? Aladdin's lamp is 10, right? They had to put double 5 on there. You know, what do I know, right? Yeah, moving on over here, we are heading to the infamous artifact. Again, very short set. Not a very big set here. Is there extra cards or what's in the back here? Oh, maybe we got an antiquity set up for this. I'm not sure. All right, so on this page, obviously we're going to go with our Bazaar Baghdad. In absolutely terrible, heavy played, almost damaged condition. Very, very raw. No, I don't see any creases. Very rough, heavy played condition, everybody. But it is an authentic Bazaar. I don't see any inking or problems. Take a look there. But boy, that is rough condition. So we got our Bazaar right there. People always ask me when I show some of these cards, like the Pyramid thing and the City in a Bottle, even some of the horses, the saddlebags, the Ebony over here. Beautiful cards for a lot of horse fans out there, but they're just terrible playable cards. That's all it is. Even the Jewel Bird, obviously it's an anti-related card, reserve list, but it's just unless we have a strong market. In a bull market, this is the card then this type of card. And then towards the end, in the lower end of the cycle, when a lot of noobs and people who aren't very, I don't know, been in the industry long, they move on, they tend to start buying cards like this, this, and this. That's kind of my attitude towards it. As long as things like this, as long as the big boys over here, the Cairo, the Djinns, the drops, as long as these big heavy-hitting old cards are not doing anything, we are not going to see much activity for even the Cabal Ghouls, the original printing of Kurd Apes and Amulet. We're not going to see activity in cards like that unless we start to see some good, strong power. We need some movements in the overall era. There's just no attention. There's no new money going towards it. I don't know if that was Wizards of the Coast's intention at Magic 30 and reprinting with the Collector's Edition. I have no idea. I don't think, in my personal opinion, I genuinely just don't think Wizards put much thought into it. And I don't think WotC realized the impact of their own brand, what they did with the Magic 30 thing. That's just, I always stand by that. It was just one of the worst, most confusing. Who were they marketing to? I guess investors. It was one of the weirdest executed management decisions in probably company history. There are very select examples throughout history where companies make such a drastic mistake that something like that happens. And well, they did that with Magic 30, and it will go down as historical. There will be documentaries, there will be people discussing it, there will be college projects and case studies and all kinds of things done on what happened with Magic 30. Honestly, I think for the next between 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, I think there's going to be stories and discussions on what happened with Magic 30. There'll be documentaries and YouTube videos and interviews of things that happened in 50 years from now talking about one of this infamous, most unbelievable corporate just blunders in history. And I just think that's one of them, So, last page here. Again, similar to Bazaar, I'm going to assume our library is going to be played. A little better than Bazaar, at least. At least this one's not just completely destroyed. Definitely not minty, but looks nice. I don't see any inking or problems, but obviously a played library there. Before we move on, it's always an interesting thing because the only basic land, obviously, in Arabian Nights is going to be your mountain. There's a handful of people out there that are obsessed with collecting and endlessly buying this particular card. I know there's individuals out there with like hundreds of copies of the Arabian Night Mountain. And, I know it's a special thing. I know it's kind of, I don't want to say it's a meme. I know it's a real thing. But I don't recommend, if you're going to go after something, picking a basic land. And I understand the uniqueness of just that in that set. I mean, I get it. But overall, I would not focus on that. If you're going to go after Arabian Nights and you really are serious about long term, and you think one day we will have another uptick in reserveless era, and you want exposure to Arabian Nights, and flat out, you need to go with the heavy hitters, the libraries, the Bazaars, the Djinns, the Ifrits, the Ali from Kairos. You need to go with the iconic cards that people who even have never played with old Magic recognize the card. That kind of thing. Yes, people recognize Mountain, but it's only going to be a mountain like that is only going to be special to a smaller segment of people in the Magic world. And don't underestimate, even the City of Ass, the Diamond Valley, the Graveyard, these other even Island of Wackety Whack. I mean, some of these other ones, these are still decent, interesting historical cards, but it's not going to have the impact. When we see movement, it's like the Kaladesh thing. When they hit the name of the set about how bad it is, you're going to shake up everything under that umbrella. When you unban Mox Opal, and the very first printing of it is Scars and Mirrodin, and that box is only, for some reason, I don't know, it's like $300 or $400 a box, and the box is like 15 years old, and there's like, 10 available online? You bet your butt, you just lit the match that's going to skyrocket the price of the box. That kind of thing. Like, when you have a catalyst or something that just, pops something, you're never going to undo it. It'll spike and come back down, but it's never going to go back to the previous low. That's the problem. So when we do see the day, if you think that day's ever going to come, the things to look out for are going to be your libraries, your Bazaars, your Cairo, your Djinn. You want to see the heavy hit. Maybe even like a Diamond Valley. Maybe, some of the smaller ones, but usually it starts with a catalyst or a big move of an expensive card. That's usually where it starts, everybody. We'll go into the Antiquities set next time. I want to kind of talk a few more minutes on the Arabian Nights. I don't want the video to go to 30 minutes to an hour, so we're going to kind of we'll leave it there. I'll let you guys just look at some Arabian Nights in the background, but I want to finish some of this conversation. Because you guys always ask me, well, Rudy, why is Arabian Nights in Four Horsemen sets? Why are they still in a bear market and negatively impacted when the reprint of Magic 30 of Collector's Edition was essentially a reprint of the Beta Collector's Edition, which is true. So why is that? I don't understand. So I get messages from you all asking me every time I do these type of videos. It's been a while. That's why I want to come back to this. It's because it's the consumer confidence. It's how it feels. Okay, I understand Magic 30. The Beta Collector's Edition reprint set thing that they, and again, Mark Rosewater is all over the internet saying it's never going to happen. I've made videos. Everybody's covered it. And, well, he lied and it was wrong. And they did it anyways. And it's never been acknowledged. No one's ever asked him about it. No one's ever put him on the spot. And there's never been a public conversation on how that was stated. And then it was wrong. So, and then not only was it wrong, the way Wizards went about it was so bad. And it was such a bad rip-off, financially calculated thing. It just imploded in one of the most glorious things in history. Again, people then ask me, well, Rudy, what would you have done? So first, on the Magic 30 thing, I don't want to make a Magic 30 video, but first, I've told you many times, first, I would never have done it. There should be no Magic 30 reprint of old stuff that you said you wouldn't do. Period. Full stop. You've got so much R&D design space to go with, so many things, all these new things, and IPs, Universes Beyond, serialized cards, artist thing, art. You have so many things you could do. Why take the chance? And you could have made more money. So first of all, I wouldn't have done it. Number two, if I was forced to do Magic 30 and there was no way around saying no, I told you all, I would have taken the old booster box from like Alpha, Beta, Unlimited Revised, that old brown booster box. I would have taken that original box and I would have taken the art from that box and literally given like every LGS like one case or one box, depending on the size. Every store would have had the chance to buy a box for even if the booster box was $1,000, I would let that slide because I want a normal 36 pack, draftable, original, revised looking booster box to feel. If you truly wanted people to relive that experience, I would have made the print run really low. And yeah, you know what? If you wanted to sell $1,000 a box, and that's fine. That's it. Because again, there'd be 36 packs, not 4. Not $250 a pack. Do 36 packs. So then the cost of each pack would have been what? $30 a pack for Magic 30. So you had your premium, you make it super rare and exclusive, and you make it special. That would be the only path if I had absolutely had to do it. And I think it would have been amazing, and I think Wizards would have made an absolute fortune. And stores had the option to buy between 1 and 6 boxes. And that's it. No extra, no double print runs. It's a single thing. It's a special moment. And that's it. That's it. $1,000 a box. Stores can do it. That's it. So past that, back to the original video. Arabian Nights is affected by Magic 30 because it pooled investors, collectors, and it made a lot of the wealthier whales, people with money. It pretty much put a force field around it, and the money goes around it now. Even though Arabian Nights did nothing wrong, that should be a good name of video. Arabian Nights did nothing wrong. Arabian Nights is going to endlessly be impacted because of the Magic 30. Now, I've continued to tell you all, I do believe there will be a day old Magic does come back. A lot of you all have messaged me, and a lot of you all believe 2025 will be the time that old Magic returns with a vengeance. Personally, I don't think it's going to be. I would like it to be. That would be nice. I would like to be wrong. But in my honest opinion, I think old Magic and vintage anything, the fact that the bull market on new Magic is spread to Bronze Era and sealed product, and all these things are doing well, and yet still the market's not tanking and not penalizing old Magic. It's not dropping anymore. But it's just moving around and there's no upticks. It's just boring. And because of that, it doesn't get headlines. There's no buyouts. There's no, hype cycle and drama from social media influencers and all the hot chicks that jump around and jiggle on your phone. And it's not getting attention. And if there's no attention to something, and the price doesn't do anything, doesn't go up or down, no one's going to talk about it. And the fact that we just went through 2024, this is being filmed at the end of 2024, and the fact we just went through one of the greatest years in cardboard history for CCGs, for Magic and Pokemon, the big dog, leading the pack, even all the smaller games doing very well. Magic and Pokemon led one of the greatest bull markets this year in modern history. And still, old Magic is frowned upon. That kind of rejection is like high school Rudy, and the neighbor girl is just saying no. And that the level of rejection we're talking is off the charts, which is why it's starting to look like the people who are telling me it could be 5 to 10 years, in other words, almost a decade, I'm starting to think a lot of those people might be right. And as much as I don't want to say that, we're 3 years in now in the vintage bear market. And I'm starting to think the people who told me, Rudy, you're looking at 5 years up to a decade, they could be right. And as much as I don't want to say that, that is a fact. And you guys know I have massive positions in old Magic. I don't know anybody who has larger positions than me in old Magic. But I'm just telling you guys how it is. I mean, I don't think prices are going to go up or down. It is what it is. If you want to buy and build positions, go for it. If you think it's going to tank, well, wait. If you think it's going to skyrocket and you're going to try to flip, good luck, man. I'm pulling for you. That's where it stands. So even though Arabian Nights did nothing wrong, that's going to be the name of this video. That should be the name. Even though Arabian Nights did nothing wrong, the Magic 30 toxicity is penalizing this product. You know, a lot of people, I even had some messages you guys asking me, well, Rudy, with the new bannings of Kaladesh and the names and, the words are cultural sensitive, how does that not make Arabian Nights go up? Because we have, what was it? What do we have up here? Where are we at? Yeah, Arabian Nights, you have Stone Throwing Devils. We have Jihad. We have multiple bad, illegal, insensitive or dangerous or cards that make people upset and cry in the fetal position. We had a lot of them. It is what it is, folks. It is what it is. We can't force the market. I told you all many times, the market's going to do what the market's going to do. Doesn't matter if I agree with it. No matter how much you think Rudy can manipulate or your neighbor, anybody can. The market's going to. There's nothing we can do, folks. The market is a sum of thousands of stores and hundreds of thousands of people in this market. And no matter how much you think Rudy can kind of move the needle, I can make a video and I can bring attention to things, but it's going to be up to the market to decide to move it up, down, or just ignore it. And that's really all it comes down to. That's why sometimes we discuss topics and the market skyrockets. We discuss other topics, nothing happens. And that's, the market's going to do what the market's going to do. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little chat and throwback down the old Arabian Night history lane. Still a beautiful thing. I have absolutely zero regrets. And as you can see in this video, once again, I have accumulated another set of Arabian Nights. And as you saw in the last video a few weeks ago, we bought a full unlimited set. And as you'll see in part 3 coming up, we are going to go through the next series, which will be, we're going to audit some antiquities and talk about antiquities. And then we got another binder with legends and different things coming up. And we'll continue this series over the next few weeks. And that's it, folks. Other than that, thanks for watching. If you're a patron, thanks for all the kindness. If you're not, thanks for the views and just being here. And as always, folks, it is the end of the year, which means we have our once a year. We have the new Alpha Investments t-shirt, link below to eBay. And some of the sizes may be starting to sell out. But yeah, we do 2,000 shirts every year. And hey, if you buy a shirt from me on eBay, I'll make between $2 and $8 off of you, depending where you live. And thanks for the support. And I hope you guys have a beautiful day.